Timothee Chalamet just pulled off one of the most genius marketing campaigns in movie history. Because this is not just a movie about ping pong. It is a movie about what it means to pursue your dreams relentlessly and to dream big even when no one else believes in you. It became more than just a movie, but a movement. And his press tour lived up to that mantra. A blimp, the top of the Vegas sphere, exclusive fashion drops with some of the greatest people in their field. He treated this movie like an album rollout. In fact, he literally did a music video with the rapper Esdeekid. The marketing of this movie itself became a symbol that matched the greatness and this idea of dreaming big that the film embodies. And this wasn't just virality, but drove real conversions. Marty Supreme broke the record for A24's largest box office in history and has become an entire cultural phenomenon. So how exactly did they do this? What was so different about this press tour compared to all the other movies that we've seen this year? Well, that is exactly the question we set out to solve here today. We're going to analyze it all step by step, from the jackets, the blimp, the music video, everything, to determine exactly why this was so successful and how you can repeat these strategies in your own creative work. So with that, welcome back to Nikki at Night. I am your host, Nikki Reardon. Very excited to be talking to you all about Marty Supreme today. I have not been this interested in the sort of like marketing and rollout of a movie in a long time. I woke up so excited this morning to like do this video. And I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. I have some interesting thoughts about like the film itself that I'll share at the end, but I also really want to talk about sort of like, actually, I think this press tour will redefine what press tour is for movies. Like the way Timothee has gone for it in a way that really no other actor does is so impressive to me. And I want to break down exactly why, because I think a lot of these things are principles and things that we've talked about on this channel before. And all of it, there's so much of it that was so interesting. So with that, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow the show on Spotify. Please. It is the number one thing you can do to support the show. Or follow on Apple Music, wherever you listen to stuff. On your car ride to work, at the gym, you can have more wonderful, amazing Nikki at Night waiting for you. Before I dive into the specifics, there's a very interesting fact that I think explains a lot. Did you know that the creative director for Marty Supreme is the same person who did the rollout for Brat? His name is Aidan Zamiri, and you can make the argument that at this point, he is one of the greatest marketers of all time. Like, I have never seen two campaigns in back-to-back years absolutely take over the internet the way these had. And when you think, there's a lot of similarities between the two, both marketed around a bold, specific color, using catchphrases like dream big, or for Brat, bumpin' that, I'm so Julia. These guerrilla marketing pop-ups like the Brat wall or the Marty Supreme blimp, the way they intentionally brought in other people, like in the 360 music video, or what they did with the Marty Supreme jacket. When people say Timothee treated this press tour like an album rollout, he literally did, and intentionally built a creative team of people around him who have done that work. And when you watch things like the Guess or 360 music video or some of the Marty Supreme promo videos, you can really feel that these things were done by the same person. Aidan Zamiri's work is so incredible. Come on the pod, Aidan. Come on. I would love to interview and talk about your creative direction and how I just think you're one of literally the most genius marketer alive at this point. Like, somehow this channel has become dedicated to appreciating your work, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So it would be so amazing to have a conversation with you about it. But I thought that was a really interesting note, and I wanted to start with that because I'll compare the two a lot. I think that they are both very different in terms of messaging and what they represent, but in terms of like showing you these common denominators and what has gone viral and how they've created a cultural phenomenon, I think it's very interesting to use these two. One of the greatest examples being, this use of the orange color. Marty Supreme is a perfect example of how to create a viral campaign using the color theory, where in a world where our attention spans are just so short, one of the easiest ways to truly be memorable is to associate yourself with something that people see every single day. A very easy example of that being common colors. We saw Brat with the green. We saw Barbenheimer with the pink, or Oppenheimer had the noir colors. We've seen something like Wicked, which had green and pink. Like, this association into a common color means that people can then take that color, slap it on anything, and now it's Wicked, or now it's Brat, right? Just a green water bottle is Brat. simply because it's just green. There's no actual real thing. And they do a lot of this guerrilla marketing to associate themselves with that color, right? It's why Timothy's always popping out in the orange. He wore orange on the carpet. The blimp is orange. Like now, anytime you put that orange on anything, it becomes the Marty Supreme blank. And that is a really, really smart strategy. Again, you see people like Taylor Swift who have done color for every era, right? Like this idea of using color is really, really genius. And I think the simplicity of it is actually what makes it so effective because anyone can repeat it, right? Brat was, again, the perfect example of this. All of these brands were doing billboards in that color or font. People were changing their profile picture on Instagram to that, right? Like, if you really want something to be a cultural moment, it has to be something that people can participate in. Like, that's what culture is. It cannot just be you or your bubble. It has to permeate that. So when you do something that is kind of intentionally simple so that it can be repeated, that's when these cultural moments are created. And that's why I think something like color is so simple, is genius, right? Like just doing a green color or an orange color becomes that. It becomes this measurable tool of their impact, right? Like the fact that we saw lime green pieces in London Fashion Week or whatever of 2024 was because of the impact of Brat, right? And like you could clearly know that and measure that because no one else was using that color the way that she was at that time. Marty Supreme really tapped into that very well. Number 2, the video had a very important ethos, which was dream big. Marty Supreme is not a movie about ping pong. It's about what ambition looks like when it crosses the line into obsession. It's about what you are willing to do to make your dream a reality. What are you willing to sacrifice? And are you willing to sacrifice that when it's going to hurt people that you love along the way? Dreaming big does not come without consequence. You know, the movie, it doesn't end with him getting to go to the championship. He treats people very badly. And there's consequences to that too, you know? And that is an important line to cross. You know, people, when it talks about chasing their dreams and, you know, this idea of being a creative and having a vision, right? Like I always say, in order to be a visionary, you have to have a vision. And Marty Supreme really taps into that because he's not like, people don't believe in him. Nobody thinks it's going to work, right? And in the end, he is as good as he says he is. He thinks that he is this amazing person and this athlete and blah, blah, blah. But like that also does not get him to where he thinks it's going to get him in his life, right? Like there is a consequence to that obsession. And that I think is a very, very interesting thing to explore. Just because you have a vision and a dream does not mean you should be immune to feedback from other people, that there isn't some truth to what they're telling you. And that also a lot of the people in your life that are telling you not to pursue that dream is not out of hatred for you. It is not out of disbelief in you. It is about wanting the best for you and being attached to some sense of realism. You know, them being like, there's all these people. How are you going to get to Japan? How are you're going to beat every single person, right? Like, and he is that good, but I also don't think you can blame the people in his life for believing in that, right? And this dream big ethos just like infected all of the marketing, right? He's on top of the sphere. He's doing a blimp. He's doing a weeding box, right? Like nobody goes for it like Timothee. The way actors are obsessed with like method acting and stoicism is so boring to me. Like look at any pop star and how much they go for it and the performances and the looks and the makeup and how much they change things up and do things. Like no movie star really does that. I would say besides Timothee and Zendaya, honestly, I feel like are the only two that will commit that much to the bit. And that is why I think they're like the two biggest movie stars of our generation. It blows my mind that the internet is this massive tool to reach like 7 billion people. And so many actors barely use it at all. It's actually common for actors to like not even have an Instagram account. It's stupid. Like, I'm sorry, doing the bare minimum is dead. I want to see you try. I want to see you be creative. I want to see you drop a freaking jacket for your movie. Like, that's cool. We like that. Make us feel a part of it. If you want to impact culture, you can't just like want people to spend money on you for the sake of doing it. You have to offer them something, this ethos, this mission that they feel like they can embody themselves and be a part of. And that is why these things worked so well. It wasn't just about Timothee. It was about this idea of dreaming big, and what it means to dream big is completely different to everyone. And that is a beautiful thing. Number 3, I really want to talk about the Blimp and the Zoom meeting. Something I say is like, Great marketers don't do the marketing. They let other people do the marketing for them. And that was the genius of the Marty Supreme Blimp, where they got thousands upon thousands of free promo assets of people posting a picture of that blimp. They used the Zoom call as this tool to create hype and develop lore around this dream big marketing. So when it actually happened, it became this joke that everybody was in on. So of course people wanted to post it, which resulted in millions upon millions of free views worth of promotion for this movie. And it's very interesting, this thing about experiential marketing now, where the goal of doing something in real life is for it to become an Instagram story. Like there is pretty much like you're always going to see the most peak return on investment when it's not just like people who got to see this thing in person in that one city, but become something worth posting on Twitter, posting on your story, sending to your friend, right? Like that's when, again, virality and culture gets impacted. And that is why I think creating lore is so important. Things like the Zoom call, right? Like, again, literally $0 for that, but a Zoom call is free, right? Like, and it created so much hype and lore and inside jokes and memes that then permeated the entire rest of the campaign. And you cannot skip that step. If you want something to be meaningful to the audience, you have to do something to create that meaning. You can't just put a blimp out there and expect people to care as much. They don't care. People don't care about the Goodyear blimp as much as they cared about the Marty Supreme blimp. Why? He created lore and meaning behind it. And that was the point of it. Again, even the Zoom call itself, I thought was so genius. I thought it was hilarious that the title of it was like Timothee _Chalamet _ like it was literally a video file. And it's so clearly, you know, like I think everybody knew it was fake, but in a way that was like funny and satirical and in on the bit. I think it really tapped into this like social media manager type trend that's like always online, or like the chronically online social media manager or whatever. Those sorts of things, like that's a very, very big funny section of the internet. And I think assistants versus agents type accounts on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like it leaned into that satire. And now we get to the jackets. Because the Marty Supreme jacket was not just a clothing item, but it was a symbol of greatness itself. It was intentionally sent to people who were the biggest in their field. Tom Brady, Frank Ocean, heck, even Bill Nye the Science Guy, right? It was a symbol of what it meant to have a dream, relentlessly pursue it and achieve it, to be the best and be proud of that success. And that was what made this so viral, why people want the jacket itself. Right? It's not just a clothing item. This is a clothing item. The Marty Supreme jacket has a ethos. It has a message. It has something that it stands for. And when he did all of this marketing and all of these pop-ups, he treated it like a fashion line, right? Like he created this exclusivity around the thing, which made it so desirable. It was dropped in limited cities. You can't really order it online. There's limited supply. There was worn by some of the biggest people. There's all these different colors, right? Like by creating exclusivity around something, you can manipulate the demand around that thing, right? You are intentionally reducing supply so that demand is more than supply, so that people want it. That creates the secondary resale market. That creates discussion around it. It is a very, very smart tactic. I also think very interesting. No movie has ever been able to tap into merch the way that Marty Supreme has. Every album rollout ever has incredible merch, right? Like look at Brat, look at things Taylor Swift does, like the cardigans or whatever, right? Like artists have very, very much figured out how to be this direct-to-consumer business still. Movies, since the death of DVD, have not cracked that at all. It is one of the things that is killing the film industry the most. And when I see the success of a movie like Marty Supreme or Barbie or Wicked, like these theaters need to learn how to tap into that. There should be a limited fashion drop for every movie like that. I think that there should be these exclusive pop-ups and experiences, right? Like the way Louis Vuitton markets a product that they spent $500 million on. Movies spend that much all the time. You know what I mean? But they don't market them the same way. They don't make them feel as exciting and exclusive. With that too, I think the ping pong ball head guys were very, very interesting. I have a theory that the ping pong ball head guys was actually pulling from Squid Game. Nobody has tried to tap into the marketing of Squid Game since it happened, and I think it was one of the biggest cultural phenomenon ever. At the time, was Netflix's most streamed thing ever. And remember Halloween of that year when like everybody was either like the little Squid Game prisoner or they had the tracksuit, right? Like that is tying a piece of merchandise to the film. It is so genius. Marty Supreme did that with the jacket also, right? He really, really tapped into this idea of like the security guards with the weird heads, blah, blah, blah. Like that's what that was. And nobody has tried to replicate these strategies of Squid Game. I also think those sorts of things make it a larger cultural phenomenon because now it's not just like people are going to talk about this in December, but this coming October, somebody can do it as a Halloween costume, right? You've now extended the virality life cycle to 10 months, or at the very least, it's going to get a second wave in that time. And again, when I'm talking about how movies have not cracked merchandise the same way a lot of artists have, right? Every year for Halloween, you see someone dressed as a pop star. No movie has found that same, I think, level of clear identity the way that Marty Supreme has. I also thought Tyler, the Creator, was perfect for this movie. Tyler, the Creator, was the perfect choice for this movie because he is the embodiment of what it means to dream big. Like, he got his big break in music after getting fired from his job at Starbucks. You can see these videos where he was talking about how he had nothing to lose and how he's going to send 100 letters to all these music labels. And you can literally see those letters online to this day, right? Like, he is the embodiment of somebody hitting a low point in their life and that being this wake-up call to be like, I have to pursue my artistic dream. This is the thing that I feel I was meant to do and the thing that I want to achieve. And that is why Tyler was so incredible for this. Like, him as a person and his story and his lore is so tied to the themes of the film. And also, he's an incredible actor too. You know, I know he said that this is like his first movie, but if you watch any of his music videos, the way he crafts an entire character for each album, he's so deep into world building and visual identity that like this is bread and butter for him. Just another day in the office, truly. And I love that. I love that casting choice, not just as a big name having an artist in the movie, but an artist whose actual story and identity were deeply relevant to the film itself. Another very interesting thing I have found about Timothee Chalamet in the past 2 years in the way he's marketed himself is he has really found a way to tap into like the straight boys. Like, they love him now. And when you think about Timothee Chalamet's origins, you know, he was doing Call Me By Your Name. He was a gay character. He was like the twink, right? Then he was doing things like Lady Bird. You know, like, these are very poetic films. A lot of films tied to female directors or queer directors. And, you know, he was this very like artsy theater kid. That was this presentation of him, that he really loved these like deep stories. And that is very true. And recently, in the past year or two, I guess since Dune probably was the big shift, he's really, really found ways to, I think, permeate just that bubble and I think permeate more mainstream culture. And like, a lot of men really, really love and respect him now, which I think is very, very interesting. It's a hard thing for an actor to do. And I think he did that very, very masterfully. You know, he went on podcasts like Theo Vaughn and sports podcasts and talks about why he loves basketball. And there's always pictures of him courtside, right? Like, it didn't feel inauthentic. He's been huge into hip hop culture and rap, which I'll talk about later. Like, nothing about it felt fake. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it just painted this other side of him. Like, he wasn't just the guy in Call Me By Your Name anymore. He's like talking about basketball. Like, and I think that actually really, really helped him with a lot of these movies. You know, if you think of the run of like Dune to Dune 1 to the Bob Dylan movie to Marty Supreme, like there's a very dominant male audience in a lot of those things. And I found it very fascinating that he was able to, I still think, maintains this image as somebody who really, really cares about his craft and art and loves it, but has also like sort of, you know what I mean? Like, the straight boys love it. I don't know. It's just interesting. It's something I thought about a lot. And, you know, he did things like Drewski, the Drewski talent show, perfect example of doing something like that. You know what I mean? It's funny. It's satirical. I watched it and found it hilarious, but also like Drewski's very much in that world. Like, it just worked. Like, he was very, very good at doing that. The Esdeekid Rap Song was a genius marketing stunt. Oh my God. I feel in my soul it was planted. I feel like the way that the rumor started about Timothee Chalamet looking like this guy was intentional with the ability to do this song. Right? Like, I never heard a human being say that to me in person. I just randomly started seeing it on like Instagram pages of like the Hollywood Reporter, where there was some article written about this crazy fan theory. But like, I never actually heard people talking about the fan. You know what I mean? I don't know. I that's my conspiracy theory. I think it was always planted from the beginning, which honestly, if so, I would love it. I love genius things like that. I think it's so cool. And the fact that he name dropped Marty Supreme in the song, I love that it ties back to his lore as like those videos of him as like doing the statistics rap as a kid. And he's always just been a huge fan of hip hop. Like it's been integral to him and like a lot of the campaigns he's done throughout his life. So I thought it was a very cool and wholesome tie-in, while also again using this crazy mystery thing. And again, it goes back to creating lore, like what I talked about earlier in this video. Again, like him doing that was interesting because there was this speculation about the mystery, right? Like him just hopping on a random verse of a random rap song would have been cheesy and dumb and people would not have liked it. But because there was so much speculation and conversation about like, is this guy Timothee Chalamet, him doing it is cool. Do you get what I mean? Like the lore is required. There always has to be lore. This is integral to music marketing that film marketing just does not understand. You have to create story. There has to be a narrative. There has to be a driving force always. It can't just be A thing, B thing, C thing. There has to be something leading you into them. You're following a journey. You're following a story. And I truly believe he has always had this story in mind. Like I have a theory that the press tour for this movie started at his Pursuit of Greatness speech. Like that was the moment Marty Supreme began because it's not a coincidence that when getting an award for your movie, when you know your next movie is entirely about dreaming big and pursuing a craft and what it means to be the best and crossing this line between obsession and ambition, that like you give that sort of speech, right? And I actually think it's very cool. You know, I think he's gotten a lot of criticism online for people being like, oh, he's so arrogant, talking about he gave top tier performances. I just think he has. Like he really, really has, you know? I also think too, when you think about the way he's built his career as an actor, you know, like he went a long time without doing a very big franchise money-making movie, right? Like it was Dune. Dune was the first one he ever did, and that was what, 2 years ago? Like I'm sure many times he had the opportunity to cash a $100 million check or something and like a Marvel movie or DC movie, whatever, you know, just a big franchise that would make a ton of money. And no, he did a lot of indie filmmaking. He was doing very artistic films with a lot of meaning, you know, and great dialogue and not some big action blockbuster thing. And I think that was discipline. I think it was an intentional decision that he made of being like, yeah, like I'm really serious about the making of film and what film means to people. And the movies that I'm picking are the ones that I feel have the deepest meaning. And now he has transitioned, you know, into his like It Boy era and doing something like Dune. I fucking love Dune. Dune is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's great. I think that's admirable. I actually don't find it annoying at all. I find the way he articulates it to be humble, yet poised and proud. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's good to be proud of your work. I don't think it's like condescending or anything. Like, I don't know. I've really liked it. And I think that we should normalize the pursuit of greatness. You know, we should normalize people saying their dreams boldly and loudly and proudly and doing whatever they can to achieve them. I am doing that here, you know? Like, I feel like that's what I want this to be. I want this to be great. I want to create a space where I feel like people are talking about art and music and film and marketing, these things of culture in a more analytical and academic way, because no classroom setting that we have actually in the world does that. Our education system sucks. So this is like my version of that, right? Like that is what I want to do. And that's why it means so much to me to have guests on the show, have artists on the show, have politicians, people who are actually doing the thing, you know, that is meaningful to me. It's what I want. I am in pursuit of making this the greatest show possible. I am in pursuit of making this the biggest, best entertainment podcast to ever exist. That is my goal, you know? And am I going to get there? Who knows? But like, I love the climb, you know? I think it's rewarding. It's tough, but it means something to me. And it's something that kid me wished he had growing up, you know? So that is why I'm doing it. That is my pursuit of greatness. That is my dream big. So what do I think about the film as a whole? I really, really loved it. I thought it was so great. Great film. Josh Safdie, amazing. I really understand the comparisons between this and Uncut Gems, the way it has this like large build. I love the ethos of the film. Do I think it is like the Oscar-winning movie of the year? I don't really know. I think it's definitely top 3, top 5 movies of the year for me. I do feel like there were things about Sinners and One Battle Another After Another that impressed me more. I think Timothy's performance in this movie is incredible. The range of emotion he displays is incredible. I think there were just some things that I didn't love about the ending. You know what I mean? Like one to me that this idea that we're just supposed to expect that like he saw his child one time and is now magically a changed man, is now gonna go work at some shoe shop that he literally spent the entire first hour of the movie shitting on. Like that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like I think it's just a movie. You're supposed to have some suspension of disbelief that like there's a new dream now and there's a new thing. Or also, you know, I've seen a lot of commentary online from guys being like, you need a girl like, I don't remember her name in the movie, but Odessa Zion's character. Like, I need a girl like that. And I'm like, she is crazy and not realistic at all. Her man left her with a bullet wound in the chest, about to go to labor, to play a random exhibition ping pong game in Japan. He didn't even get to enter the tournament. Nothing happened. And he left her bleeding out, about to go into childbirth. I would dump his ass. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, that is not realistic. That is bad and crazy. So, like, there were elements in the movie there that bothered me. Like, I wish that there was just a bit more of that. I also randomly felt like Gwyneth Paltrow's character and him never really had any sort of conclusion, which I wish would have happened. You know what I mean? Like, he sees her crying that one time, and then they literally just never interact for the rest of the movie. And I would have loved if there was some sort of comparison of maybe like, you know, they have some sort of conversation where she talks about how she married for money, thinking that that would help her dreams of being an actress. And that actually really destroyed them. And what he should do is find somebody who truly loves him and rides for him and is down for him. And that's when he has this sort of change of mind about Odessa's character. Do you know what I mean? Like some sort of thing like that I really think they could have both neatly tied up that sort of relationship with him and Gwyneth Paltrow's character, while also using it as this sort of ramp into this epiphany he has about this woman in his life who really loves and appreciates him. But yeah, Marty Supreme, great movie. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I love y'all so much. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Follow it on Spotify. Hey, if you're listening, give it a 5-star rating. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye.